Get out. Thinks he can play guitar better than me or something. He can't even lip sync correctly. So I was trying to think of a topic to do for today's video, and I thought of a vlog that I made last year, but I made it for my personal channel and I never actually edited it. And it was supposed to be part of my New Year's resolution to do personal vlogs on my personal channel, BeetleFreak9. Obviously that never happened. The video is about point-and-click graphical adventure games. They are very near and dear to my heart, and I'll try to give you a quick summary in a minute or two here before class. Before I go any further, I just want to apologize if there is any inaccurate information because I'm pretty much taking this all off the top of my head. So point-and-click adventure games didn't start out point-and-click, predictably. Their roots are kind of in text-based adventure games, also called interactive fiction. A very popular company making these games in the 80s and early 90s, I think, but mostly the 80s, was Infocom, and they made games such as Zork and Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy was a very popular one. I'm going to link to a place where you can play that one online in the doobly-doo pants area. Probably the most important text adventure game was called, aptly enough, Adventure. It was sort of a game that had been built upon over the years by several different people, and it was basically just you're set in this Tolkien-esque world, sort of. I don't remember how deep it is exactly, but there's a cave, and then you do adventures, and it's puzzle solving, basically. Use this item with that item, combine these, and do this crazy weird thing to get you to the next area. So mid to late 80s, enter Ken and Roberta Williams. Ken and Roberta were fans of games such as Adventure, and they wanted to add a new component and a new depth to these games. This was graphics. So they self-published a game called Mystery House, which I think is free now, but I've never played it. It had super simple line-based graphics in addition to a very simple text parser. Ken and Roberta went on to make 3 or 4 other games in the same vein as Mystery House, but then Roberta Williams got this awesome idea called King's Quest. King's Quest was primarily graphics-based, and it also had a simple text parser, and you were actually shown walking around the world in real time. And the graphics were very simplistic by today's standards, but they were a far sight better than Mystery House. King's Quest is loved and remembered by many, and it was really the first adventure game of this new era of point and click. Even though the first King's Quest wasn't point and click, remakes and stuff, it would eventually be point and click. Actually, there's a pretty awesome remake of the first King's Quest that I'll link to again in the doobly-doo. Enter the 90s. Sierra Online Entertainment, or Online Games, or Sierra Online something. That was the company of Ken and Roberta Williams, and they pulled in a ton of awesome talent and game developers of the day, and they made their Quest series of games. Not only was there King's Quest, but there was Police Quest and Space Quest, and eventually Quest for Glory. And then there was another similar game, but it was more humor-based, called Leisure Suit Larry. Sierra games were very high quality and very popular at the time. And then another company hit the scene. Enter LucasArts, or Lucasfilm Games as it was known back then, with their first adventure game called Maniac Mansion. Maniac Mansion did away with the language parser altogether, and instead had an interface at the bottom of the screen with pre-selected verbs over here and sort of an inventory screen and miscellaneous stuff over here. Maniac Mansion really started the point-and-click part of point-and-click adventure games. Lucasfilm Games and Sierra competed fiercely in the 90s, each creating better and better adventure games. Lucasfilm Games produced my favorite game of all time, which is called The Secret of Monkey Island, and then they made a Monkey Island 2, and they made some Indiana Jones point-and-click adventure games, and Sam & Max, and Loom, and a sequel to Maniac Mansion called Day of the Tentacle, which is regarded as one of the greatest adventure games of all time. Full Throttle, The Dig, though The Dig is not that great. My shirt's backwards. Oh well. Eventually both companies sort of petered out in adventure game development right around the turn of the century, the turn of the millennium. 3D had kind of just come on the scene, and adventure games didn't really translate very well to 3D. And then there was a whole adventure game revival that we're kind of in the middle of right now, and it's pretty awesome and exciting. But I'm not going to talk about that. So there you have it. That is a small, very short, brief history of point-and-click adventure games. My favorite genre of games, probably. Hope everyone has a great week. DFTBA.